If you don't hit it hard, the whole thing's gonna suck. Hit it hard.
Mark.
Hard.
Hi. All right, there we go. Now we're ready to shoot.
I'm Matthew Lillard, and this is my last meal.
Every person has exactly two things in common. We all gotta eat and we're all gonna die. Today's guest is an actor, director, founder of Beadle and Grimm's, and CEO of Find Familiar Spirits. He's starring in Scream 7, out in theaters February 27th. And if you're at an Orange County church carnival in the mid-1980s, you might have seen him perform as Tam the Mime.
Oh my God, that's
Matthew
a deep
Lillard,
cut.
welcome to the show, man.
Tam the Mime makes a resurgence.
It really does. Do you remember anything about your routine miming for Christ?
So I could do it right now.
Let's
have a screwdriver first. No way. I'm doing that sober. No, I'm not doing Tam the Mime today.
You don't have
I know when to draw the line. That some things are best left in the past.
Yeah. When's the last time you thought about Tam the Mime?
It is something that my wife's friends constantly bring up, Tam.
Yeah.
In fact, I was just in Japan over New Year's, and we walked by a sign that said Tam Tam, and I stopped my entire family and I said, Heather, take a picture. That's my wife.
Do you feel like Tam is maybe your id, your alter ego?
Just picture the things that come out of people's mouths in high school when you're an obese teenager who does pantomime and wears Lycra shorts with like a yellow racing stripe down the side because I thought it made me look, my legs look skinny and my package look huge. And then I had like a turtleneck, but I'd roll up the sleeve so you could see my hands do the work, right? So there I am with a mime face, a fat head, real big belly, racing shorts, huge package.
Huge package, man. That's what's up.
And then, my turtleneck. So, I mean, that defines who I am in so many ways.
Yeah. Schwitzing in the Orange County heat.
Yeah, and the reason you're there is like you're trying to find community. You're trying to perfect what you think is an art form. You're trying to stand out. You're inviting yourself to the church fair that nobody wanted you at. Nobody asked for you to be at.
And you weren't a member of the church either.
No, I was.
You were a member. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I was part of the youth group.
Well, it wasn't the full stigmata, though.
No.
Okay, I didn't know how deep you went.
It wasn't a Christ-themed thing.
Gotcha.
It was like a whole... It was like a panto. It was like you're doing like I was doing ropes. I was doing like,
You were playing the hit.
This is the worst interview ever. What are we doing? Aren't you supposed to be
Hey,
cooking?
man, welcome.
What the hell's happening?
I feel like I need to set the tone for everybody because you are the first guest that we've had on the show that has a palpable fear of death radiating away from you.
That's not
ever since the green room. I've never experienced anything like this before. And it's very special.
I welcome Death's sweet embrace. I am so ready. Just so you know, they will play this clip a million times. I'm happy to be dead. I'm so happy. There's gonna be something incredible next, and I can't wait to see it. I just don't want it to be today. Sure. And when you ask me questions about like, what's your last meal? It's not really about my fear of death. It's really about the fact that I don't want to think about your question. I am like, I don't really care that much. I think
it's a thought exercise to be like, what are these seminal moments in my life that I want to flash back before I go to the grave? And sometimes food is a big part of those seminal moments.
Oh, yeah, no, not for me. Definitely not. I will say that what I thought was interesting about the question you proposed, which I liked, is where's your emotional connection to food?
Yes.
And I don't really have a deep connection to food. I'm not a foodie. I'm not a dude that like covets a steak or a great bottle of wine. I'm just not. That's just not my love language, right?
Yeah.
But when you ask me about emotional relationship to food, I have a very deep connection to that, and that's why I came on the show, because I like to share sort of like, how that can expand people's connection to their own emotions.
Somebody said something interesting where they said if you live your life well, your last meal should be through a tube, like God willing, that you are so old that you physically cannot eat a steak at the end of your life.
See, I don't agree. I think your last meal should be enjoy around the family, and then you go. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be somebody who's wasting away on a feeding tube. Yeah. I would much rather be somebody that burns out quickly. And I've seen it. I think a lot of the stuff, like, my dad. I shouldn't have given you this. My dad's really sick. So my dad's steak and eggs. My mom's taco salad.
Yeah.
the older you get, the closer you get to like losing those that you love. Yeah. And so everything I picked isn't about my family in terms of who I cook for or my mom, my kids or my wife. It's about my mom and dad because I'm in the middle of shit that the older you get, the harder it is.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to eat this shit.
I do want to say very genuinely, like I'm very happy that you're here, and I'm very grateful that you are giving us this amount of graciousness and sharing your time and emotion. And I know it's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, thanks. You better be good. It better be
good,
If
too.
it's not good.
If we fuck up this taco salad,
we will downvote the shit out of this thing.
Matt, for the first course of your final meal.
Oh my God, I can't believe you're there.
We have your mom's taco salad.
Hi, and they leave. Why are you scurrying away like rats in the night? Those of you at home, there's people just off camera trying to hide.
Dude, literally the last guest that we had was like, I didn't even see them, and then they just like turned and there was food. But you're very observant.
They're literally standing 3 feet
I'm telling you, the vast differences in the human experience, it's incredible. We have your mom's taco salad. Now, we tried to recreate this as faithfully as possible. We also have the Thousand Island dressing on the side. This is Doritos, shredded cheese, beans, ground beef, and lettuce. But then we have something that you didn't ask for. But I want to bring you back to a very specific Orange County memory that I also have because I grew up in Orange County. And this is from a restaurant called Don Jose.
No, wait, well, how do you, that is a deep cut. Did I tell you Don Jose's?
You didn't tell me Don Jose's, but I heard you mention Don Jose's once as something you would go to as like a special occasion as a kid, mostly so your parents could drink margaritas.
That's hilarious.
But I also have vivid memories of going to Don Jose in
Where
Orange
did
County.
you grow up?
So I, in Mission Viejo, but then moved to Fountain Valley later on.
Oh, yeah.
But your high school and mine, you went to Foothill.
Yeah.
So I was Tribuco Hills. We were in the same sports league while I was there. So I like used to go up to Foothill all the time.
Oh, that's
But we're always around. But Don Jose, this, big white kind of like cheesy architecture. You walk in, there's
Don't you say
bright
cheesy.
colors.
Who are you to judge Don Jose?
I'm not judging.
Don Jose, you literally
Don
said
Jose.
cheesy. No,
You know what I mean?
You literally called it cheesy.
It's been there since 1966, and I gotta keep the knife. I'm a pacifist. He comes at me with a knife, I'm parrying with a serving spoon.
Listen, my mom and dad started their own business when they were young.
Yeah.
They had me very young, and they had no money. We moved from Michigan to California, and they would work, so many hours. Like I lost my parents because they were working so much. And so we would go to Don Jose's because I was raised on fast food. Yeah. On the way home, they'd go to McDonald's. On the way home, they would go to Burger King. Insert fast food. Yeah. But this was this is where we went to like sort of celebrate. And I would sit at a table with my mom, my dad, my sister, and they would talk business, and the entire time I'd be like, just talk about me, or just talk about something else, but they would talk about business because they work together.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that I'm now part owner of 2 businesses, and I'm a co-CEO of Find Familiar Spirits every single day. And I think it's taken me a long time to say this, but I think I'm good at business, and I think a lot of that is instinct that was born out of that table, sitting and listening to my mom and dad talk.
You're at Don Jose just soaking up all of that business acumen.
Angry about it as I was coloring and eating way too many chips.
Speaking of chips, man.
Yeah.
Dig in, what can I serve you first? Also, do we dress this taco salad?
Yeah, so this was what my mom would make.
Do you want me to just give you a big...
Yeah, literally. So my mom would make this all the time. She's gonna see this and be like, you're embarrassing the shit out of me. And I used to say to my wife, like, can we make taco salad? And my wife was like, never. We will never make that meal. Just so you know, it's early here in Southern California.
This is breakfast.
And the meat is hot. And it's really gross.
Yeah, I want you to know we had about a 25-minute discussion. 5 chefs in one room trying to figure out the best way to layer this.
Yeah.
And which parts are supposed to be hot and which parts are supposed to be cold.
You just get after it. And I said to Sam, I was like, I don't know. And like she was like, you gotta give me what you're making. They're making it like 2 days. I'm like, just give them my mom's taco salad.
Yeah.
And I regret that choice. I could have said anything. I could have said lobster. I could have said other fancy things. I don't like lobster.
How often would you eat this? Is it like a weekly thing, a monthly thing?
Well,
Hell yeah.
Mom's taco salad.
Yeah, great, man.
Well, we loved it, And the funny thing is that it's delicious the next day.
It feels very Midwest meat.
It's very Midwest. My mom didn't like cooking. It just was not her jam. It was never her jam.
But was she like always in business? Like you always saw her focus?
No, she worked with my dad. So we came from Michigan. So my mom and dad were like, my mom was 21, my dad was 22. They just started dating very early in their relationship. I came along. And I think about all the time, like if I hadn't moved to Orange County, California, would I ever be doing what I'm doing? And the answer is no. There's no way.
You don't think so?
I probably would have ended up a salesman. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, you know, the confluence of like all these things that had to happen for me to be at this table talking to people is crazy. It's like really crazy. I mean, in 7th grade, I was an obese teenager. It was 8th grade actually. And Miss Johnson, my dad said to me, you can either take a typing class or an acting class. And the idea between the acting class is that, you know, he knew I was gonna have to present myself at some point. That I was gonna have to stand in front of people and sell. My grandfather sold baby clothes across the South after I got in the military and was destitute and then came to live with my mom and dad. And so my dad was like, you're gonna be a salesman like I am, like my dad is. And so I got in this acting class and it was the only place I was ever good at anything.
Yeah, that's such a powerful feeling for a kid to finally feel good at something.
Yeah.
And the thing that always freaks me out looking back at childhood is there's like a 4.5-year window that seems to set what your entire perception of yourself is for your entire life. You know, it's roughly that like 8.5 to, 12, 13.
Sure.
Where like the fact that, you said you were like an obese child, having watched any of you in any single media that you've been in, I never could have possibly guessed that.
Right.
But I'm guessing that feeling inside of you, if I'm still that kid just
never goes away.
Never goes away.
Especially around food, especially around your parents. Both my mom and dad were obese.
Yeah.
You know, my grandfather's obese, and there's a humbleness that comes with that. When you're not a jock in high school, when you are an outsider, you have a whole different perspective on life. And that, for me, hugely powerful. So did you define yourself in high school as a chef? What did you define yourself as?
It's really interesting because I was a very fat kid. Parents were divorced. I remember when I was 13, I was like 280 pounds-ish. But
that is big. How tall were you?
I was like 6 feet, so I was big, but I was always good at sports, which is the thing. So I could use that to my advantage. I played football. I actually ended up going to school on a shot put scholarship because massive, big beefy boy throwing a big beefy ball. But I always still felt like that really lonely outsider within sports. So really? I was kind of this.
It's so funny because there's such a community there.
There is, but I think the specific sport. So like I played football, right? Football was. I remember the moment I quit the football team, just because I was going up to varsity. I was 15 years old, still hadn't hit puberty, but I was huge. And I went up to one of the older kids, and I was like, "Hey, Mike, I just want to say I'm really excited to go practice with you guys in a couple weeks. I'm really excited." And he looks at his friend and goes, "I'm gonna kick the shit out of this freshman." And I literally just like had this moment where I was like, this is not a community. This is not what I signed up for. Right. I would like to go where I'm wanted. And then track and field is it's a loner sport. You don't rely on anybody. I spent years thinking about how I can take this heavy metal ball and throw it farther away from me than anyone. And so I would research, I would watch old East German training videos, look up the work of Werner Gunther, if you really want to find some cool stuff, or Anatoly Bondarchuk. So
don't do it right now. We're in the middle of an interview.
No,
don't go now. Stay with us.
I'll show you the Werner Gunther training video. It's incredible.
When you come back, this will be gone.
But it was something where I could really nerd out in my own interests, and it was something that I saw myself getting better at consistently because of that own nerddom. So I always felt like I was walking between different worlds. Did you feel that way? Because like you get to 1990 and you're hosting a skate TV show on Nickelodeon, and you're this like tall, svelte, blonde-haired Orange County kid hosting a skateboarding show.
Dogs like this.
Dogs like this, dude. And I can still code switch. I go back to Orange County and I go to a coffee shop in San Clemente and I'm like, dude, can I get a cortado?
Dude, kind
you know?
Yeah.
But that's
totally.
But that's like currency that you carry, right? Everybody looked at Matt Lillard and was like, this is the epitome of cool guy, but you didn't feel like that inside.
No, dude, come on.
Did you know that people looked at you that way?
It doesn't matter what anyone says.
Sure, yeah, 100%.
Right, I mean, you say svelte, I mean, I look back on myself in, when I watch, like, Without a Paddle, which I do every Thursday. It's one of my favorite pastimes. I had real self-conscious about being fat on that movie, and I've never been in more shape in my life.
Yeah.
So when did you find fellowship? When did you find people?
I think within that weird little nerd community of track and field, I remember like, I had a crew of people that, went off to college at UC Santa Barbara, and we were all just...
Did you go to UC Santa Barbara?
I did, yeah, and then transferred to UCLA. But I always had people around me that the biggest thing was they never negated my interests or told me that it was stupid. It was the people that I could just be my full self around. And be like, hey, did you see this old Soviet manual that had every single major lift correlated with its actual Z-score percentages against the distances that these people threw? Also, do you want to go to this new Osaka-style ramen spot, whatever? I remember like having, in like the jock community, telling people a cool food thing that I was excited about because that was always still there. And they would literally just be like, that's so f***ing stupid. And I was like, what an intentionally hurtful thing to say, just to take my interest and like tell me, go out of your way to tell me that it sucks.
But that's not community though. They're telling you it's...
No, but I found my pocket sort of within that, but I remember very deliberately shying away from one pocket into another. And then when I actually got into food and could just turn that into my career, college was done, that's where I'm like, oh, I'm actually doing the thing that I'm meant to do.
Right.
When was the first time that you felt like you were really doing the thing that you were meant to do?
I mean, the first time I did a play, it was called Greed for Gold in 8th grade. My mom still jokes about it because she was like, the line was, your goose is cooked. And I said, your cooked is goosed. And everyone laughed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, ding. You know, it's funny, there's an actor named Adam Carl at the time. But in 7th grade, I was in 8th grade, he was in 7th grade. In 7th grade, Adam Carl went off to do the Amundsen Theater. He went off to do 8 is Enough and was on different shows. He's like on all these like guest stars. And so he became like sort of like this first like early on, here was an example of a guy beating me who is also a professional actor. And every time he was on TV, the entire community would swell with like, oh, we have to watch it. And I was like, oh, I want that.
It's interesting, when we told everybody in this room that you were coming in today, all of us had a different point of reference for you.
Oh, that's
where
funny.
Someone was like, oh my God, Scream's coming on that, and I love the original movie. And someone was like, oh, I was raised on Scooby-Doo. And then here's me going like, yeah, but the pigtails and hackers, come on, man. But like, you've had such a large breadth of work. And I think in some ways you've almost, I use this phrase very lovingly, you've become like the patron saint of the weird kids, you know?
Yeah.
You've had all of these movies that maybe even at the time didn't get the full amount of respect that they deserve.
For sure.
I rewatched Scream for the first time in a long time, and I was like, this is such an incredible meta commentary on the fear that TV was gonna rot kids' brains, and it has this anti-establishment kind of bent to it that's more clear 20 years down the road. Do you think you have more clarity on your own career looking back? Like, oh, I did accomplish a lot more than I thought.
If you look at Hackers, right, when it came out, nobody really cared. It didn't really have, I don't think it did well at all, actually, to be honest. And years later, I remember walking into like Apple stores when Apple stores started to pop up, and then kids at Apple stores were like, hey dude, hack the planet. I'm like, I hear you saying that. Like, why are we here 20 years later? I mean, Scooby-Doo is another great example. I mean, Scooby-Doo 1 and 2 are, I was literally talking to James Gunn like a couple weeks ago. We were talking about how popular Scooby-Doo is as a movie. Reality is that movie is more popular now than it's ever been. And I think that there's so much nostalgia in it. I think that, frankly, it's the last series of DVDs that were ever made. And I feel like that DVD got stuck in people's minivans, and the kids just had to watch it for like 30 years. Like, I think it's like, shut up and play Scooby-Doo. And that's why that movie's so popular, because kids were tortured in the back of like a minivan having to watch it on road trips for so long.
Yeah.
You know, and here we are all these years later, and I can tell you it's 24 years because my daughter's 24 and she was born the day it came out.
Wow.
Her name is Scrappy.
Middle name?
Do.
You ready to go to the second course?
Oh my God, I'm done for the day. Thank you for having me.
See you later. Let's
today
go.
on
Everyone check out Scream what? Scream 15, 16, how many are there? 17? Scream 17.
We're gonna cut together. We're gonna do a series over the next 4 years to get through the next 5 courses.
Matt, for the second course of your final meal, you did not
I had
ask.
no idea you guys were there.
You did not ask for any of this, but let me explain.
Wow.
You directed a movie called Fat Kid Rules the World.
I did.
In that movie, when Marcus and Troy finally crack the song Fat Kid's Revenge, Marcus goes to dinner and they go to a diner. And this is Marcus's exact order from that diner. He said, I want a cheeseburger with bacon and chicken strips and a Coke. And what goes good with the cheeseburger? And the server says, more chicken strips? He goes, yes, and fries for my friend. So that is exactly what we have here today.
That is so good.
Thanks,
this is the surprise? This is...
Yeah, this is the surprise.
That's so good, dude. That makes me so happy. If you ask me, like, what are the highlights of your career?
Yeah.
Directing that movie is easily one of the best things I've ever done in my life. So the story goes, I got offered this book on tape. Mm-hmm. So it's a book called Fat Kid Rules the World by K.L. Going. And it's an incredible book. And I got this offer, and like I did with you, I put it off because I knew I didn't want to engage because sometimes that's what I do. I go into a hole.
Yeah.
And because I didn't give the last meals very much time. I feel bad now that I know Josh and I know everyone. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. But I was like, fine, I'll do it. I'll do it. So you have to read it. I'm like, I don't care. What's it about? Fat kid and punk rock music. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in. I show up and I read the book. I'm very emotional. I don't know if you can tell. I'm like 10 pages into the book and this obese kid is gonna jump in front of a moving train.
Yeah.
This street urchin named Kurt at the time, in the book his name's Kurt, stops him and then sees this kid as a mark and is like, you owe me money, and then they become, like, this starts the journey. To me, like, from beginning to end, it took a long time to get the movie made. Super proud of those boys. That performance is incredible. And to this day, I think the movie is like the thing I'm most proud of because it's tiny, it's mighty, but it's super impactful. And I think that when people watch that movie, they see this outsider rising to this moment where he's becomes this, for 1 second becomes this punk rock sort of legend. And, it's just, it's like the crowning achievement of my life.
Doing stuff like this is probably relatively new for you who's been in Hollywood for like 30 years, right?
It's certainly more, I think you've got more channels and more people are streaming things like this. And so, you do it a lot. But I like these moments. I like conversations. I like everything about this. I think this is awesome.
Thanks, man. I like this too.
All right, good. We were asking another question. What was it?
I was going to ask you something.
Oh, I thought you were.
I forgot what it is because I saw this chicken strip and I got really excited about it.
Are you excited? What do you like about food? Like, why, outside of the good reason to do the show, like what food do you like?
I mean, I like all kinds of food. Literally, there's no food that I don't like. But the reason I love food so much in general is because when I was a kid, I saw food as the thing that divided people more than brought them together, which is a weird thing to say, and a lot of people don't think about it this way.
That sounds very dramatic.
Yeah, I'm a dramatic man.
You're looking at
Matt, you're on a show.
Chicken nuts.
Literally
dividing humanity.
Actually, yes.
I want to be a chef.
Okay, Tam the Mime at the church carnival out here with a black turtleneck when you're 14.
I wasn't trying. I was trying to get laid. You're trying to bring the world together.
You think? Listen, I've gotten laid before, all right. I've been, I'm
not with chicken strips. Not with chicken strips.
Oh my God! When I would cook for girls in college, you have no idea. I would be Frenching lamb chops as they'd walk in.
Well, it's because you were buff and you had a shot put.
Like, I was 280 pounds. I was like a big, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting at the lunch table, and I see all these kids. I'm 7 years old, but I have, the wisdom.
Come on, dude, I don't believe this.
I was the weird old man in a child's body. I didn't grow up with cable. All I did was read books. I was reading the Bourne series when I was like 7 years old, because I thought that made you an adult.
Yeah.
But so I'm sitting there and I see all these kids with like different school lunches, and I would be there with my government subsidized $1.47, plastic chicken nuggets and fries. And I'd be like, well, why does that person have that lunch? I specifically remember there was a Lebanese kid in my grade who all he wanted was the plastic pizza, and his mom would cook him this beautiful Lebanese food, but he's a second-gen immigrant, so he just wants to assimilate to, the dominant American culture, whatever that means. And so I would get to trade my government-funded school lunch for these beautiful homemade meals, and that was the thing that just always fascinated me.
Sure.
And I'd grow up watching the Food Network, all of that. So for me, it was such an early, earnest emotional connection on how food can be used as a tool to bring people together or as a tool to divide people, which is why I was kind of surprised when you said that you don't have a big emotional connection to food. Because anyone who even has memories of their parents just picking up fast food or going to Don Jose's or making taco salad, also while being obese, and that obviously having a big effect on you, to me, I would think you had a hell of an emotional connection to food.
I mean, I have an embarrassment around it. I have issues around it in terms of like
embarrassment's one of the most powerful emotions.
Yeah.
You know?
But so when you say but I do have an emotional connection to food, but it's not when you get an opportunity like this, you're like, give me your last meal. I'm like, okay. Do people just give you their favorite meal?
Yes, but I think if you are to actually look at why they're asking for A5 Wagyu, I think you actually find a deep emotional connection. And we've had a lot of people.
Really?
I think so.
Have you ever considered more comfortable benches for a show that's been on for more than 50 years?
We thought about it.
I mean,
there used to be cushions.
Can we take a break? Can we take? Do you have any idea how old I am? This is going to break my back. Like I know,
fragile. Yeah, I know he's a big.
The most gangster booth you've ever.
Yeah.
That is me knocking on the
plywood.
The bench. I feel like I'm in prison.
A little bit.
That's so. Sorry, I interrupted with a bit. I apologize. Cut that out.
We keep every Lillard bit stays. God damn it!
All right, now I have to eat some.
Are you familiar with the religion of Lillardism? Somebody has created a.
Can you go back? Go back.
A5 Wagyu.
Yeah.
I think people who put that on their menu, I remember specifically, I'll call her out by name, Kelly Rowland. I remember talking to her about it.
Oh, yeah.
She, was in Destiny's Child, but she was singing in 4 different church choirs when she was like 10 years old and always had this dream of making it. And she looked at something as luxurious as like Wagyu steak and caviar as something that was unattainable. And so that was her like, I've finally made it to an echelon that I dreamed about, that my mother sacrificed for. I think Matthew Perry said it really well in his autobiography, where it's like, I wish everybody could become rich and famous for a day because they'd realize it's not what they actually want,
Yeah.
Did you have that moment where you snap back and realize like, oh, this is what I actually wanted out of a career. This is actually why I was
I mean, sure. I mean, I think that I always made the analogy like when you're acting or when you're in this business, you're climbing this ladder, right? You're like, you just look up. And every now and then, like, I would be like, I just got into a club. I just walked 10 guys in board shorts. Literally, they came back like 20 minutes later and kicked everyone out, but me. But like that was like, oh my God, this is making it, right? And every time I sort of stopped on that ladder and was like, oh, this is making it, I realized that people would pass me by.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, oh, I have accomplished something, I was like, oh, I haven't worked in 6 months. The reality is that at some point you're like, I've like I said before, I feel like I've achieved everything I could have possibly dreamed of coming in. Because if I always do this thing and I teach class. Stay with me for 1 second. If I could give you a commercial, right? I say to a bunch of actors, if I can give you a commercial, how many people in here would want a commercial? And they all raise their hands because it's like, great. And if I can give you a second commercial, who wants a second commercial? I'll pay you this amount of money. Like a national commercial is like $30,000 to $50,000. I want that. And I give you the third commercial, where are you satisfied? Are you done? Like, no, I want more. What do you want? I want to do a guest star on a TV show. Great, I'm going to give you a guest star. And then I'm going to give you a lead. And then I'm going to give you a Sundance movie. And then you're going to get a part in a Tom Cruise film. Do you think you're done? You're like, no, I want more. There's no end to wanting more. Yeah. But nothing satiates, and there's no satiation. So what is it? What is the thing that we are really looking for? And to me, my happiness, my joy in my life that is abound is because I figured out, for me, it's community. For me, it's when you are shot putting with the people that are like, yeah, I want to go to that movie. Yeah. For me, it's like when I found theater people and I'm like, oh, you get it. When I teach, I see a fellowship of people. When I am in community, it's the same thing the same reason we go to church. You go to church to sit in silence with other people and be like, we believe. And so together you have something that you feel connected to. If you're wandering this world unconnected, like what are you doing? No amount of money brings you joy.
In fact, I'd say it's the opposite, where the more fame and the more money you get, the more disconnected, by definition, you do get from other people.
Unless you choose to connect. Because the reality is that nobody should be living in fear. I mean, you have to create boundaries. You have to create opportunities to build fellowship. You can't just become a victim. For me, I early on was like, I'm a dad, I love my wife, and I'm not working, so what's my answer? I'm gonna have people over to my house every 2 weeks to read a play. We're gonna order cheap food. We're gonna drink cheap wine. Everyone has to leave by 12. You can't go get more booze. These are all lessons we had to learn in the process. Because at some point you're like, I'm 4 a.m. and I don't want to be drinking anymore.
Yeah.
But we did that when my kids were like 3 years old and 1 year, like all the way up. My kids would come in. They would say hi to everyone. The girls would come in and do like a little skit or a play when they were 5 and 7, and then 7 and 9, and for 20 years, every 2 weeks we'd read a play. Same group of people, different people. I'd meet a waiter or waitress. I'm like, come to my house, let's read a play. And so for me, it always goes back to, it has nothing to do with money, it has nothing to do with box office. Has everything to do with being surrounded by people that make you feel seen. And you're like, oh, these are my people.
Matt, for course number 3 of your final meal, we have a screwdriver made with your Ghost Face vodka.
Holla at your boy!
Ghost Face vodka, we're out here. There's a nice little car garnish, and then
thank you guys, thank you chefs.
A medium pepperoni pizza. We heard you complain about the large pepperoni pizza, so
I complained about
medium. We said large pepperoni pizza, and you said I didn't order a large. You're making me seem fat, and then we talked all about your childhood issues with your weight, and then the movie you directed about it. And
That's hilarious.
Downgraded to me.
That's hilarious. I like a burnt pepperoni.
Same. I think that flavor is actually the essence of cancer, but I love it. You've heard that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's I welcome Death's Sweet Embrace. That's the name of my show, where we do the Heimlich every week.
You can't launch a Heimlich-based competing show.
No,
that's not fair.
That wouldn't be cool. Tell me about the success of the show.
You want the numbers? You want the fact sheet?
No, like where you started and where you're at now.
Because
this is all going down from this episode. Goodbye.
Having a blast. I think they're loving it. No, so we launched.
They're drunk. It doesn't matter what.
100%. They get drunk every Friday. We call it Drunk Fridays. It's not a very creative name, but it gets the job done. Anyways, so we started.
Why bother?
This channel, Mythical Kitchen, 6 years ago, where we were just kind of cooking. We were doing a lot more kind of wacky food things, very YouTube-y things that I love to do. But then about 3 years ago, we launched this show for the first time. And there's a funny thing, trying to book a guest on a show that doesn't exist yet, because you're like, who the hell would want to do that?
Sure.
And so we went after, people that we knew were promoting things in LA all the time. We had Maria Bamford. She was maybe like our 4th guest ever because she lives like 3 miles away, and said, sure, I'll come promote my comedy. And then inexplicably, our 6th guest ever was Tom Hanks, which was crazy.
What?
And so
how'd that happen?
It's, my slight nepotism, but like my wife works kind of in PR. She's not his publicist, but she knew his publicist and just pitched the show. And apparently Tom Hanks is one of the people who said, I know exactly what my last meal would be and why. I've been thinking about it for years.
Oh, wow.
And it was.
Would you remember what it is?
The thing that he said first off was the Taste of History platter from El Cholo Mexican restaurant in Santa Monica. So it was right next to Playtone Productions.
Oh, yeah. Sure, of course, yeah.
And so he was like, anytime we had to celebrate anything. So yeah, from there, we've shot 90 more episodes. And
that's great.
Everybody here, we all feed our families.
That's great.
Which is really cool.
That's awesome.
Tell me about the pizza.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It started with the Parmesan.
Tell me about the chicken parm.
Yeah, the chicken parm. So chicken parm, so I play Dungeons & Dragons, right? Yeah. So I have a Dungeons & Dragons company called Beetle & Grimm's. We create high-end gaming accessories for Dungeons & Dragons and other things. And I am a huge D&D fan. I grew up playing Dungeons & Dragons. And I went to acting school when I was 21, and my roommate at the time, John Ciccolini, I walked in and he was putting his books onto his bookshelf, and he had his player's guide and his DM's, his DM's book from 3.5 Dungeons & Dragons. And I was like, wait, why do you have D&D books? He's like, well, I play. And I was like, you play Dungeons & Dragons? Dude, you're such a nerd. What? And I was like, well, we should play. We brought it up to the guys at school, and about 6 months later, it was after a Super Bowl, we decided to go and play Dungeons & Dragons. And we went to this school called Circle in the Square Theater School, which we're all alumnus of. And so we had access to the theater. So the play got let out, and we went in after the play was over, and we played in the lobby of Circle in the Square. We started like 10 o'clock at night and played until like 5 in the morning. And to this day, I still play with 4 of those guys, or 3 of those guys. Yeah. 6 years ago now, we were all sort of having this midlife crisis. We all have families and kids, and we were looking for something else to do. You know, we've been playing since we were 21. I'm 56 years old. And we were just looking for something else. Like, you know, they all had sort of day jobs in middle management and making perfectly great money. But they were like, we wanted to find something we could build together. Yeah. And so, and we were throwing around ideas like an escape room or like, you know, traveling, like you put it in like a truck and then you show up with an escape room, like, you know, just like a box experience. Like every month you send a mystery box. Yeah. So everything you can need for a Dungeons and Dragons game experience is in a box.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, one-time purchase though. You don't have to keep re-upping.
Yeah, you know. So you buy that. So so in Dungeons and Dragons, like if you have like a map, like we make the maps.
Yeah.
If you have, you know, like a ransom note. Well, we'll make the ransom note. We'll have artists make it, and then we'll publish it. You know. Damn. And so all these things are. If there's like a ring of power. I don't know why I say it like a total nerd. If there's a ring of power, like
you know why you say it like you're a total nerd? Because you're a total nerd, man. I'm a total nerd. I can tell you about the history of chicken parmesan down to how the economic conditions that created it.
Every time I play D&D, there's a reason why I start stories.
I was wondering where this came.
Every time we play D&D in New York, we'd order chicken parms.
So we made a chicken parm sandwich. We made this homemade. We got a ciabatta loaf. We spread it with a little bit of garlic butter. We toasted it, pounded out a chicken cutlet, fried it in some panko. Simple provolone marinara sauce.
Delish.
New York classic.
Do you have a type of food you like to cook most?
Growing up in Southern California, man, Mexican food is just my favorite thing in the world.
Really?
Mexican
to cook or to eat?
Both. I'm just, that's it. Like you, I grew up with fast food almost exclusively. My parents didn't cook at all. Latchkey kid, working constantly. I remember McDonald's had it was 29-cent hamburger Saturdays. We would order 10 hamburgers at 29 cents, put them in the freezer, and I would just microwave them for meals. And so for me, I was just like, well, I can learn how to cook anything. All the information's out there.
Right.
We've done it. Cheers.
Cheers.
And so Mexican food, I love Vietnamese food. My stepmom was Vietnamese. I moved up Fountain Valley, Little Saigon area.
Yeah, sure.
Orange County.
Yeah.
Grew up eating all that food. So for me, it's like food is a way to explore the world. The thing I'm curious about with Beetle and Grimm's is you talk about, there's having passion. That's one thing. Having community is one thing. The idea of having like purpose, like an actual goal that you can like put in work on, I think that's really important to the human experience.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And kind of what's driven people for like thousands of years.
Yeah.
How cool is that? How to like combine the community with the purpose?
It's ridiculous. That's the be all end all. I mean, if you're an actor and you have a great year, you could be working 30 days a year, 40 days a year. Well, the question becomes, what do you do for the rest of the year? Yeah. For me, having Beetle and Grimm started, all the other guys had day jobs, and I didn't. So I would build the box sort of by myself.
You're the guy texting them at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So like, hey, I'm at work, chill.
And I did that for like a while, and then eventually we had a massive success, and they all left their companies, and they all now work full time with Beetle and Grimm's. And I actually have I started Find Familiar Spirits, and if those guys now do all that work, I still come and sort of like help lead. We just did a retreat in terms of where the company's going and help make decisions, and I still am the dancing monkey. But the reality is that those guys are, 365 days a year building that company.
Your dad thought that the acting class would make you a successful salesman. You said, no, I'm gonna be an actor. 30 years down the line, that acting class made you a successful salesman.
Yeah,
you're here,
funny.
man. You're just fulfilling the promise.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's been great. It's been super successful. We've ebbs and flows. I mean, we launched this 48 hours ago, and so far we have 50,000 people signed up on the waiting list. So, like, we're never gonna just throw on the Ghostface label and try to sell you something. So we like, okay, well, what's the value add that we give to the fans outside of the thing you like, which is Ghostface? And we created this game called Killer Bash. So you hit this with your QR code with your phone. I hit it with my phone. We all load into a game of Mafia. So as you're sitting there drinking, you could be playing a game of Mafia if you've ever played Mafia.
Yeah.
It's called Killer Bash. And so that's like sort of like, how do we give back to the community? How do we create an experience with our brand that's more than just popping it open and drinking vodka?
Yeah. I've never been into horror movies. They just scare me. They put my adrenaline up against my will in a way that I don't want my adrenaline to be there. I want to put my adrenaline up with my own free will, which is why I love metal music. So like Ice Nine Kills, I've been listening to for years.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Without that horror movie connection.
Right.
I'm just, in weight rooms, shot putting, listening to, to their music. You have found yourself in all these different pockets, from like punk rock to horror to D&D, that are just all these outcast sort of pockets, and all of them tend to come together at conventions. How has your emotional connection to those conventions changed over the years? Because I know a lot of people, initially they would be like, why do I have to do this? Why is this my job? I didn't get into it. But has that changed over the years?
The funny thing about conventions is that 100 years ago, I got offered to go to New Jersey and go to this convention. And I walked in, and I was like, I don't know, but it was a lot. They offered me a minimum guarantee, though. For me, at that moment, it was a lot of money. And I was like, oh God, this feels cheesy. And when I was coming up in New York, it's really interesting. Like, there was no social media. In fact, the more you sort of promoted yourself, the more gauche it was.
Yeah.
Right? You as an actor, as like a New York actor, you just be like, that's my job. It's the work. I don't care about the press.
I will say very much your generation thing. Like, the worst thing you could do is sell out.
For sure. But I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna make money and I need money, so I'm gonna go do this thing. And so the first time I got there, everyone sits behind a table and they sign and they sort of give something away, right? Or they sell their signature. I'm like, oh, I hate that. Why selling something I would easily give for free feels disingenuous to who I am. So I immediately, the first time I ever did it, I sat on the table. Everyone who came up, I hugged. I was like, hey, how are you? Where are you from? How's it going? And I'm signing this thing, and someone's taking the money, so I don't touch any money. And I'm like, oh, good to know you. Like, nice to meet you, man. And I literally would spend like 8 minutes with people. I would like dig deep with everyone that came through. Now my line ended up being like 5 hours long, and the second day the guy's like, you have to go faster. You have a minute, like, dude, you have to go faster.
Yeah.
And then the thing that happens is that I found that I like people.
Yeah.
And I like being in that moment and sort of seeing everyone that comes through and being able to like have meaning to somebody else is super powerful for them. I don't really give a shit. I have a weird job. I put on makeup, I say weird lines, and then I go home.
Yeah.
But whatever Scooby-Doo means to people, whatever Scream means to people, if there's something out there that is like powerful, then I love honoring whatever that person's experience is. And so you get that little queer kid in Kansas City who needs to be seen, or you get that like, somebody struggling with addiction, or you get the dude who just doesn't give a shit and he wants to autograph. Like, great. I'll be available to anyone that walks through that sphere of influence for the 2 to 5 minutes that we're there.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting, overwhelming at times. I used to cry like every convention. I like hold some, like I literally have had their last wish is to come meet me. Mm-hmm. Sick kids who come.
Yeah, that's a big a burden, but also what a tremendous privilege that you've had that.
Yeah, you have like these crazy moments where you're like, get the pizza out of here. These crazy moments where you're like, it's superhuman moments. Like you're like, oh God. And at the end of it, you just like go, the gift isn't about the money. The gift isn't about the job. The gift is like, oh, what impact can you make on people? And that place is like a super highway of like engagement. And it's really, there's really crazy, like little lovely moment.
Yeah. Are there any fan interactions that have like really stuck out over the years?
Well, listen, there's a kid that was like, listen, I was gonna kill myself. Yeah. I would put all my life in order. This young woman in New Jersey, she's like, I took care of everything. I tied all the knots and I was like ready to off myself. And I saw you coming and I decided that I wanted to see you before I left. And so I was like, okay. And she's like, and in the interim, I got a job and I got a boyfriend and I'm still here. And the next year she brought her mom and dad. And they were like, thank you. And I've seen her like multiple times and you're like, and that is like, everyone has that story. It's not me. It's the power of celebrity. The celebrity doesn't really care about the power. The power is all on the other side. And there's like a bunch of us that are really interested in like making sure that the people that care about it feel seen. There are legendary stories of people doing, wish fulfillment for terminally ill kids that nobody knows about.
Sure.
And it happens all the time in this business. It happens all the time for people that understand the value.
Yeah. I will say everybody in the NBA is pretty good at throwing the ball in the hole, but
Yeah.
there's a reason we watch Michael Jordan highlights a lot. I'm sure a lot of other celebrities have had those moments, but there's a reason that people single you out as the one person that goes out of their way to make everybody feel seen. I'm sure you've seen all of the Reddit threads.
I've seen
everything.
plenty.
You are
Yeah, I've seen plenty.
Michael Jordan of that. And also, we have, this is from our very
Oh,
own
yeah.
Carolina Garza. I'll let her tell her own story right to your face.
Oh.
But I know this meant a lot to her, and you've meant a lot to a lot of people.
Oh, that's very
And
sweet.
that's what this whole damn place is.
I see you. I see you. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's like, it's like just a very sweet element of life that I get to the privilege of holding.
This is MK653, Last Meals with Matthew.
No
Take
more.
4, Mark.
No more.
TikTok, Matt. TikTok.
No more.
Time's running out.
All right, bring in your meal. God.
Bring in the meal. Bring in the meal. You don't have to hide anymore.
All right, no, come here. Sit down. Sit down.
Everybody,
come
come
here,
on.
sit down.
Come,
Where's
come.
the rest of the staff? Where's the rest of the cooking staff?
come.
Get over here. Get the staff over here. Bring them in. Bring them in. Bring them in. Bring them in. Go, 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 go.
He does outrank me on the call sheet, so
Come on.
he's allowed
Come
to do that.
sit
We're
in.
coming in.
Never
We're coming in.
said
We're
that.
coming in.
We never sat this close.
I know.
Come on, go.
Everyone introduce yourselves, please. Ready? Good. Go ahead. You start.
Fit.
I'm Lily.
I'm Tony.
I'm V.
I'm Colby.
And I'm Ash.
All right, good. You guys, thank you so much for your meals. It's been delicious. I've cried 12 times, and it's not because of the food. The food's so good. But I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you
You got dad grip on my shoulder.
I know, I'm holding on for dear life. You know why? Because I have to eat those so I don't want any more food.
We have to-go boxes.
Oh, they got. Oh,
Yeah, we'll
don't say it
pack it
twice.
up for you.
I will bring
Do
it.
y'all want to tell him what you've made?
steak and eggs
Oh,
and
good.
bread.
Oh, good. Thank you. Do you know? So my dad on Christmas morning. God damn you, you son of a bitch. My dad used to make steak and eggs, and my dad has dementia. And so he's in a memory care facility. His birthday's 2 days away from mine. I just turned 56. And so I thought it'd be lovely to have my dad's steak and eggs, because every Christmas we'd open presents and they would give more than they have. And then my dad would make steak and eggs.
Wow.
I'm glad we could make it for you.
Yeah.
It's just special. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for breakfast.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank
All right, good.
you.
Get the f- out of here.
You're all kind of stealing Matthew's shot. So
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. God.
you also have a whiskey Coke with your
I'll take
Quest
the
End whiskey.
I'll take it. So good.
Is there a particular Christmas memory that sticks out of your dad making
just that?
steak and eggs? Yeah.
There's a moment in the movie where I did a movie called Wicker Park. And I threw in this line with Rose Byrne. I was like, I'll make you my dad's breakfast. And my dad loved that.
Oh man.
Because I improv this, I'll make you my dad's famous breakfast. And so he loved that. He was a big fan of mine. I mean, he was always, I had very supportive. I don't think that every parent is supportive of that sort of thing, going into being an artist. But the reality is that if you're out there and you're a parent, here's my whole thing, is that you follow something you love, you'll find a way to make money.
Yeah.
Just do what you love. And it's also like, what are we doing? Nobody wants, if you don't want to be a tax accountant, if that doesn't turn you on, then why would you ever subject your kid to doing something they don't want to do? So my whole thing is find what they like, push them to work their ass off, outwork everyone, and they'll find success.
Yeah. A thing that my dad said to me that always stuck with me, and I know it came from such a deep personal place, is when he said, take the risk, because even if you fail, you could have played it safe and failed too. And I know that the silent part of that was, I played it safe and I failed. I don't want you to do the same thing.
Right.
Because I watched my dad basically die without a hobby and a passion.
Right.
And
So
it's
how
not
did your dad pass? You were saying that's why you got into cooking.
Yeah. That's at least why I started the show. I got into cooking because he basically raised me on his own ever since I was 10 years old.
Because?
My mom had schizophrenia, and she just sort of fled the state. Just kind of went off how a schizophrenic person might. And so I hadn't seen her since I was 14. But my dad lived alone with him, and so I would basically cook dinners for the family. My brother did too, but he was an angsty teenager. He was out
Sure.
blasting Black Label Society in his Honda Accord going on joyrides. You know how it goes. So I would cook a lot of dinners for the family. That was a big part of building self-esteem for me as well, was learning to have that ownership over something.
And how old were you at the time?
Like 11 years old, probably.
That's so crazy.
But then he passed when I was 19, just heart condition, went in for surgery. Things went south in the surgery and passed away while I was in school.
How did that translate to you following a passion?
My rebellion against my dad was, I'm going to find a safe government job and work for, my dream was to make $65,000 a year and have a government job. I thought I was going to go work for the FBI or the CIA doing desk work. That was it, because money was always the biggest problem for us growing up. My dad, he couldn't answer the phone at dinner because it was always a debt collector. I still get debt collectors hitting me up using my dad's name. I'll get a text message or an email that says, "Hey, Russell." But so that was my rebellion, was to play it safe. And then as I got older and he started, his health worsened a little bit, he started taking stock in his life, he would encourage me to actually chase my passion that was food. And when he passed away, that's when I started taking it more seriously and realized that that's what I need to devote my life to, because you could play it safe and you could fail just the same. So might as well take the risk. Dad?
You have a lot of clarity around this table. I feel like you're very good at answering the questions. But I'm curious, like, when you feel lost, like, do you feel, like, when do you feel the loss of your mom and dad?
It's when when I see other people having a good time with their family. I've gotten better at it, but it used to just gut me. I think other people, it was actually, no, this is worse. When people would complain about their family, was actually worse than if I saw them having a good time. Because if people would complain about their family, all I heard was, I have an alive parent that was trying their best.
Yeah.
And that was something that I didn't have. But that was just a comparison thing. So I've gotten better at that with age. But yeah, there's still just times at night where I just lay in bed wondering what my dad would have thought about,
Yeah, sure.
all this. And I know how proud he would have been. But yeah.
Yeah, I used to have this thing where I did Scooby-Doo for like 6 years, 5 years. And we shot every Wednesday, we'd do voice recordings. And I would call my dad on the way to work. And we would talk for like a half hour, 45 minutes every Wednesday. And now, I would give anything.
Yeah.
Just to be like, just a moment of acknowledgement. Yeah. Every time I see him, it's like, he's in Seattle in memory care. And my mom goes every day. I feel so bad for her. It's just brutal. It's just a brutal disease. It's so bad.
It's really unique in the way my wife lost her grandfather had Alzheimer's, but I'd never seen. It's a continual process.
Yeah.
And it seems brutal, drawn out. I noticed you even referred to your dad in the past tense, but he's still.
Yeah, he's still here.
That's right.
Yeah, but he's.
But it's what does he mean in that context?
I wish he had a last meal. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
I wish he had one. I wish he had one more meal where he was like, "I'm here. Let me tell you my stories." You always think you're gonna get the stories. I just never got the stories. What? Do you have kids?
No, we want to though. We're like actively thinking about it.
That's hot.
That's hot. Yeah. Oh, we're doing more than thinking about it. Dig into the steak. It's getting.
Oh my
See
God.
If you did your dad justice.
It's so porn.
Did you say that's so porn?
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is so.
Can't
porn.
do that anymore. Oh,
Can't do porn
this
anymore.
looks delicious. I like my. You never asked me how I like my steak.
We didn't.
Does that want? Can you send this back?
Yeah.
I do like my steak charred.
You like it charred? This is charred pretty solid, but you like it fully well done.
I like it really well done on the outside and then medium on the inside.
You've died a lot in your career. Mm-hmm. You've killed a lot in your career. My favorite quote of yours is, "Only posers die."
Oh yeah.
SLC Punk is one of my favorite movies of all time. A movie that meant a lot to me as a kid. It meant a lot rewatching it. The idea of what it truly means to not conform, right? How is everybody not conforming in the exact same way? Mm-hmm. Is that not just conformity? But specifically in that scene when Heroin Bob dies.
Brutal.
And you're acting in that. It's incredible. You go to a really deep, dark, frenetic place, it looks like at least. Is there any emotion from your own life that you access to get there?
So in that scene, I was like building up for that moment. I have a deep respect for the craft of acting. And the older I've gotten, the more I sort of have fallen in love with it. And the more that I have taught it, the more that I have a theory of what it means to be a great actor. And so I really strive every time to be brilliant. Yeah. And I don't always hit it, but I have moments in my life where I can look back and say I was incredible. Irregardless of the movie, what happened, but there are moments in my career I'm like, that's brilliant. But the thing about that scene is that I circled that moment. I'm like, oh, this is I'm number one on the call sheet. This is me as the lead of a movie, which didn't happen a lot before. It hasn't really happened since. And I had that scene and I'm like, oh, this is my artistic intelligence tells me this is the end of the movie. This has got to be a big moment. Yeah. And to get up there and fake it isn't going to work. And so I got up there, we went to go shoot it right before lunch, big scene, nothing happened. And I made great. It was so bad. And James Marandino, to his credit, is like, let's go to lunch and we'll take a shot at it after lunch. And I sat in this cold room in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was by myself. And I sat there and I went over all the things I wanted to tell my dad. And this is before he was sick. This is like this whole thing, relationship with my dad that, I had all these things I wanted to tell my dad that I never told him. And I was sat in this room and I got myself all lathered up and I went down and I was like, let's just shoot. And Michael sat down and ready and roll and nothing, I did the lines and nothing happened. I did the lines and nothing happened. And we had this 25-foot mag. It's like this 10-minute take. And then I started to go off text and say things to my dad and I cracked and went back to the text. And that's what's in that scene. And I think that you have to hold on, the longer you're around, as you ebb and flow in life, you have to hold on to those moments you thought you were brilliant. Yeah. And the language we tell ourselves has got to be full of beauty. It can't be full of like failure. Yeah. Talking about last words, like what is your impact? This is our last meal. Thank God. This is so much food.
So full, man.
To everyone who's watching this, if you're ever considered doing this show, if you're a friend of mine as a celebrity, just don't. It's too much.
Yeah, it's a lot of food.
It's too much. I've literally put on 12 pounds. It's not cool.
You can pick less dense foods. I will say Matt picked incredibly dense foods.
Taco salad is a salad.
It says salad. It's mostly Doritos and beef.
I'm so sad.
That's denser than just Doritos. Because there's the beef. Then there's more beef.
I've cried 12 times and even in 12
You're
pounds
just dehydrated from those tears.
Oh my God.
Drink your vodka.
No, but I do think that if you said to me like, okay, what's your impact? Like what? So.
Do you want me to say that?
Yeah. What's your impact? So you die a long time from now, but as you're going to the grave, what do you want your impact to be?
There's a book that I read by Kurt Vonnegut called Sirens of Titan.
Okay.
That I'm paraphrasing. It might not even be true anymore, but this is what I remember from the book. I'll Wikipedia the plot summary later. A person goes to a foreign planet and he's very lost in his life. And there are these little creatures that are floating around that he recognizes as being the sentient creatures of this planet. And they all just sort of gravitate towards him. They land on his skin and they light up in such a way that he just internalizes the fact that like, these things love and need me. And they fix their ship and they're headed back to Earth. The guy goes, hey, aren't you coming? And he goes, this is where I'm needed. I don't know why these creatures have gravitated towards me. I don't know why they're feeling love for me. I can't explain it, but I know I need to be here. And I'm now in a position where through this show, we have a ton of people, like you get messages, people see me on the street and they hand me their parents' ashes at a convention. And they say that whatever you said, eating steaks, making Matt Lillard fat on the show, has made me feel better about the traumas that I went through. And I don't exactly know why. There was never a grand plan. I never wrote it down that that's what I wanted to do. But people tell me that, and that's enough for my own impact. What's yours? It's really special, man. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, you're good. You're doing good.
You're doing good, man. That's really good.
Yeah, I have kids.
Yeah.
I have kids. So, my mom said to me really young, I was like, I loved history. And I was in it's the weirdest memory. It's like one of my first memories, actually. I was in my closet right after we moved to California. I was studying my history book. And I was like, I said to my mom, I'm like, Mom, you're not going to be in the history book. Like, when you die, people are going to forget you. My mom said, you're my history. And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I have a responsibility.
Damn.
And so, look, I think the kids are, that's my only thing at the end of the day, like, there's a big public side of me that I want to make impact. I want to touch people. I want to, like, not in a creepy way, but I want to make impact on people. I want to make that queer kid in Kansas City feel seen.
Yeah.
I want that young woman to survive, to find a boyfriend. Like, I want all that. But at the end of the day, I want my kids to be beautiful people.
Yeah.
Strong, loving, on their own journey. That's the only thing I really care about.
I think you've had a hell of a lot of impact.
Well, this show has been, I'll never do this show again. Oh my God.
He thinks he's invited back. We ask every guest on the show, what do you think happens after you die?
Oh, you're for sure around.
You're for sure around?
100%.
In what way? They're coming to get you, by the way.
I don't blame them. Please get me out of here.
Mistake.
I'm supposed to be I'm already 3 hours late for my next thing. I'm supposed to be in and out. I've been here for 12 hours. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, there's no doubt. I just think that, and if I'm wrong, I could care less. I'm wrong. Like, having a bigger picture. And I just think that there's just so many things that lead me to believe that energy is abound. I just really believe that. It can't go away. It has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to come back as a muskrat. I can't wait to be imbued in a star. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah. You ready to get into the lightning round? We'll get your ass out of here.
Oh, we have another.
It's so small.
Is there
Answer
dessert?
them as quick as
I
possible.
want dessert.
Get you a Cliff Bar. Who's the one person, dead or alive, you'd want to share your actual last meal with?
My kids.
What song do you want to be played at your funeral?
525,600 moments. In fact, I called my lawyer 20 years ago and said, when I die, I need to make sure that there is a choir that is loud and strong and many people singing that song when I am put to my rest.
Also, it's just like a lawyer to not get back to you after.
No, I literally
never answer.
I confirmed it 6 weeks ago.
No shit.
Yeah.
We're so back, baby. Who's your dream eulogizer at your funeral?
My kids.
Seeing as you're currently on your deathbed, are there any words you have for Quentin Tarantino and his body of work?
I love your work.
I thought, man, it's fine. When does Fat Kid Rules the World 2 come out so we can follow Jacob Wysocki's punk rock path?
We tried to do a TV show. Turns out Hollywood still does not care about obese teenagers.
God, Hollywood, figure that out.
Right?
Finally, Matt, are you happy?
I mean, not right now. Right now, I feel fat and horrible. No, I'm super happy. I couldn't be more happy. This is the weirdest. I literally had no idea what I was coming to. I regret every second of it.
Hell yeah, dude.
No, I'm kidding. This has been really lovely. I had no idea what I was doing. I showed up. I should watch things, but I think Sam, to her credit, was like, you should watch it. I'm like, I'm good. And I sort of like surprises. Like, we didn't really talk. I was like, just save it.
Yeah.
Because I think that I have no expectations and no sort of like preconceived notions. And so it's been such a lovely, and you're lovely, dude. You're really great at this.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that,
Yeah,
dude.
your dad would be so proud.
Hey, I know your dad's proud, man. Our dad's proud. We can be each other's dads.
Yeah.
Call me anytime. Need dad
Yeah.
advice. Matt, if you want to share your last words with that camera right there.
My last words. I don't like this show.
That's Matt Lillard. God damn
No,
it.
don't go there.
Those are the last words.
That's not my last words. My last word is this: believe. Just one word: believe.
Check out Scream, 15, 16 is out?
17.
Scream 17 is out.
7. Scream 7.
Out in theaters February 27th. Check out Beetle and Grimm's.
Beetle and Grimm's, Find Familiar Spirits, Cross Season 2, Daredevil Season 2, Carrie, and then a new Tony Gilroy movie.
Jesus Christ. You don't
It's been a big little run.
We're in the Lillardissance, man. Let's do it. See y'all next time. The perfect way to elevate all of your meals. The Last Meals Bar Set is available now at mythical.com.